Welcome to the Laws of Life talk show. I'm your host, Blanca, and tonight we have a very, very special episode. We have Kendall Newson, who is a NFL Miami Dolphins football player. He played with the Miami Dolphins for 4 years. He also has his own nonprofit and he teaches kids how to fish. And we're going to hear about his nonprofit, about his football career, about everything that he does. And we are going to have a great time tonight. We also have three students from Broward College Paralegal certification program, Talia Allende and Simone Clark, who are going to interview me tonight. So everything is happening just as it should, organically, naturally, and how we never know what magic we're going to make in the show, but we know we always make magic together by honoring the practice of connection. Because the Laws of Life talk show is not just a talk show, it is an interview. It is the practice of networking on Zoom. Like, for example, Michael Embry, who's in the audience tonight, he's come into the Laws of Life talk show dozens and dozens of times. And we have met in person when Michael visited from Florida, but the practice of connection through the talk show has helped us stay connected. Michael, it's so good to have you on the talk show tonight. What's your law of life tonight?
That's
Say it one more time.
staying connected.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And we've got Moses Peterson in the audience. So good to see you, Moses. We have Mark Siegel in the audience. We have some people, some friends here in Studio One. And, we're just getting warmed up. We're building a fire of connection. And some of the most incredible opportunities stem from the practice. Like, for example, even tonight, Talia, who just reached out to me this morning asking me to interview me from Broward College. Talia, you're also a broadcaster on an FM radio station, right?
That is correct. I am a radio personality at the Great FM. My show is called The Zinvasion Show, and we focus solely on music and entertainment, on local artists, as well as celebrity artists as well. So we have a bunch of people stop by, bring in their music, and we do we do music review Mondays, every Monday. And we just give a platform to those that are up and coming and those that are already established. We're always about connecting, networking, and allowing independent artists to be able to have their publishing rights and to have their we say their artist report card be viewed, because a lot of them don't even know that some of their music is not even recognized by the radio station. So we give them that education, and we also allow them to have access to the radio profile so that they can get their music played, and then they get their money because they're getting the count for it, basically.
That is incredible. And I love also celebrating young artists that are growing in the industry. And so that's another way we can collaborate. And also, most importantly, tonight, we're also going to be meeting Stephen with Miami Cam Squad, who is our co-producer of the Loss of Life talk show, sponsor and business partner. Wishing Stephen a very, very happy birthday. So, and Stephen is with us on Zoom. Stephen,
Thank you.
how are you feeling on your birthday tonight, my friend?
How I'm feeling, the law of life. Live how you feel and feel how you live. That's my law of life for today. Just blessed, highly favored, valuing people, being valued, for being on earth. I mean, it's exciting. Feel good.
I'm so grateful to you for all your help and support. The quality of the Laws of Life talk show. If you guys go to my Instagram at Blanca Laws of Life, you'll see the latest episode of the Laws of Life, or visit the Laws of Life with Blanca YouTube channel. I have been getting comments on Instagram, TikTok, email that it's the highest quality they've ever seen, that it is just high as quality as the Today Show, as some of the top talk shows in the world. And Stephen has worked tirelessly to master the production of the show. Tonight is this because this is Steven's birthday, and tomorrow night we will be at the Ocean Manor Resort. We did not do a show in Studio 2 tonight, but I highly encourage everyone to start coming to our second studio where we do our events, where we do our live audiences. And what we do is we connect the live audience to the Zoom audience and make even more magic happen. I want to welcome Stu Feldman to the studio audience. I want to welcome Mark Siegel to the studio audience, and we'll bring you guys up. But I'm very thankful for you being here. It means the world. So what we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with some announcements about the laws of life. So let's take it from the top. First, you have my number. Everybody has my number. You can call me 24/7 if you need me. And please, please follow me on Instagram, because that's where I post the majority of reminders for the Zoom, for the talk show, and for everything that we're doing. And that's Blanca Laws of Life. Also, keep in mind that I am an attorney, and I'm an attorney. And Maria, you're just going to want to mute yourself because we're hearing the background noise. If you can just mute yourself, Maria. And hold on one second.
Yeah.
Me? Yep.
All right. So if anybody needs legal services for legal, because I have a network of 75 attorneys, we can assist you in the areas of personal injury, litigation, entertainment law, immigration, business, securities, even medical malpractice. This week, I got a medical malpractice case. It was really sad. Someone's grandmother passed away at the age of 78. She was admitted into the hospital for a very, very minor reason. She just had I'm not going to go into the details, but it was a really minor issue. And 22 days later, she unfortunately lost her life. Now, under the statute, because she's 78 and she's not currently married and she has no children 25 or younger, there's no one that has standing to bring a wrongful death case under the statute. And if you really think about it, it's really sad, because it's telling us, the statute's really telling us that if you're not married and you don't have a kid under 25, your surviving friends, family members, daughters-in-law can't sue for medical malpractice. And so that's why it's important that we have these conversations, and hopefully the law will be changing. But we even do medical malpractice, anything, litigation, business cases, whatever you need help with. And you don't have to ask me, can I give your phone number, Blanca, to someone else? You can give my phone number to anyone, and I answer my phone 7 days a week. So whenever you guys need me, I'm here to help as an attorney and as your friend. Let's go. What else do we have in the announcements? Okay, what is my law of life for today? And think about what your law of life is. You may not realize it, but every single day you have a different law of life. And potentially every 5 minutes you could have a different law of life, an experience, a conversation. Become aware of the laws of life inside your heart and write them down and listen to them. So today, my law of life is celebrate the people that care about and invest in you. And Stephen with Miami Cam Squad is a person that has truly invested in my dream. He has spent countless hours producing the show, mastering the technology. And this is just a small way to say, Stephen, I am so grateful for your unbelievable, infinite support. And thank you for being the co-producer of the talk show and helping bring my vision alive of connecting the world through media and entertainment so we can all win. So let's give Stephen a big round of applause for that one, because he is a one-of-a-kind guardian angel. You are one of a kind, Stephen.
Appreciate you, Blanca. Well, we couldn't do it without you, obviously. You and I are very driven in the same sense. We're nonstop. No matter what our body tells us, no matter what people tell us, like we're driven. We have the same ambition. We have similar ideas. We're always bouncing off of each other's ideas. and that's the beauty of making connections. Like when you and I met at a networking event, probably similar to ours, it made sense, and we get to see the fruit of our labors up to this point in our life, to see the growth, to see the connections, to see people coming together, people benefiting, from your and I existence of collaboration. It goes a long way, especially in South Florida. We were just talking about the other day about the power of working and connecting together, where, you learn to be this way and not this way. The more we help each other and create this city, the whole idea, guys, is me and Blanca, when we first spoke, it was like, it'd be real cool to create a city within a city, and the more that we can establish this city where people come to us and say, hey, Blanca, Steve, or with you guys, hey, I need this or I need that. We connect them directly with you guys. We're pairing up people left and right. People are reaping benefits left and right. We've seen it in the background. Even when people don't tell us, they're making major connections. And it's been flawless, in the sense of connection, right? Like, it hasn't been flawless in the pursuit of it, or in the labor of it, but it's been flawless with the connections, and to see the growth. Blanca, I am beyond words, and blessed to have you as a business partner. You're amazing. You do a phenomenal job at keeping composure, keeping people together. You're always smiling. I don't even see, like, even on your bad days, the most you've told me is, let's talk tomorrow. So I got to, take my hat off to you on that, and guys, and say, look, this is the opportunity to get in now. Like, I told Blanca, I said, we're like a seed that was in the soil. It sprouted. It now has a few leaves on it. You want to get in before this thing really gives fruit, because this is the time to get in. If you want to be a part of the team, if you want to collaborate with us, we have access to all types of opportunities, including for your own business, printing at discounted rates when you become a member, photos, photo shoots, video, content, AI, like programs and learning, and even if you need a life coach, I do life coaching, whatever it is that you guys need to move forward and be better, to help, not just help yourself. The reason why I do what I do, and I love Mark Siegel for this. Shout out to Mark Siegel, by the way, is everything that I do in my life is so that I can bless and help other people. So Mark, I want to shout out to you. You're doing a phenomenal job with feeding people and doing what you're doing. Like, I recognize that. I talk about it all the time. Mark, you're an amazing man, and I thank you for that, because that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. We're getting this bag for the right reason. And if you guys are getting the bag for the right reason and want to join a winning team, it's time to get aboard the Laws of Life talk show community. Sign up, become a member. That I would love to see somebody join for my birthday. That would be ideal. Just to, be like, hey, we're going to support, we want to be a part of the movement. You guys, I'm telling you, you're not going to go wrong. And every member so far can vouch for it. If you guys come to the talk show live in person, they'll tell you it's been the best choice they ever made, and they're glad to be a part of it, and we're glad to have them a part of it, and we hope to have you all part of it as well. I don't hear you, Blanca.
If you're wondering, thank you, Steve. I really appreciate those beautiful words. And if you're wondering, how do I become a member? You can visit my Instagram and click the bio link, click memberships. And we have 5 different levels of membership, from a beginning level to a higher level. And you can pick the level that you're comfortable with. But at the end of the day, it's a great opportunity. I'm going to let Michael make an announcement, and then I'm going to continue, but just keep the slides up. Michael has been a longtime follower of the Laws of Life. Michael, what is your announcement?
So I have an event coming up July 25th, and it's going to be live streamed globally, and we're looking for people who want to sponsor their logo for our backdrop. And that way you get brand recognition globally. And the price is only $50. I will provide that information for you guys. Or if you want to just be a sponsor itself for the event, in general. But yeah, so our event, basically is called the Annual Unity Networking and Award Show, where we honor people who do great things in the community, and we present them with the award called the Professional Maximizer Award. And this year, a fellow member of the Laws of Life, Raquel, she is going to get the award from the Rise and Thrive. And last year it was Camille Robb who received it. So yeah.
So your last 2 years recipients you met through the Laws of Life platform. And
Yes,
this is an event that takes place in Virginia. And I want to congratulate Raquel Stewart with the Rise and Thrive Together. And Raquel is the partner of Regina, who's one of our early supporters and a member of the Laws of Life. So thank you, Michael. I would also encourage you, Michael, to become a member of the Laws of Life. Check out the new memberships. Everybody, check them out. Because, for example, if you become a member at the studio level, it's $50 a month. But with that membership, you get the guaranteed opportunity to speak in every talk show. So for 4 shows, you would be able to promote your event every single week for 30 seconds a week. If you become a VIP member, you're guaranteed 1 minute to speak. So not to mention discounts on services and talk show appearances. But congratulations to Raquel with Rise and Thrive Together. Congratulations to you, Michael, on your event. And we look forward to hearing more about that. So let's go back to our announcements. Again, a very happy birthday to Steve. I want to thank Kirill Perez, our Director of Communication from the Laws of Life. Kirill's been a member of the team for 7 years. She has done an incredible amount for the distribution. She's helped us build our following to 70,000 followers across all channels. She also helps produce the podcast, distribute the podcast across Apple and Spotify, distribute our television shows across the Roku channel, and all of our social media is managed by Kirill. So everybody give Kirill a big round of applause. 7 years of commitment. That is incredible. I also want to, I mean, that,
we love you.
I mean, that, and you talk about smiles. You are always smiling. So Kirill, what's your law of life tonight?
My law of life. Keep smiling.
Okay, that's a good one. Honestly, to be honest, that's what I was telling Talia this afternoon, and I was telling Simone. That was actually what we talked about in our prep meeting for tonight. That your smile, just smiling, is one of your most important tools in your toolbox, and it costs you absolutely nothing. So that's a great law life. I want to thank Pedro Justice, our DJ. Follow Pedro at DJ Young Master Dro. He's an amazing DJ and audio engineer. Pedro, do you have a law of life tonight that you would like to share? And Pedro is even here in Studio One along with Steven. What's your law of life, buddy? You got to unmute.
We still likely to win by 20%. And he continues to deny all allegations, and at least he has some people.
I can't hear you, Pedro, but that's okay. The universe hasn't been very kind to me technologically today, so I'm actually just enjoying the challenges. All right, let's go back to the show. All right, so we want to thank our sponsor, Muscle Vodka, that provides the alcohol. It's an organic vodka. They provide the alcohol for our live audience every single week. We're very grateful to Muscle Vodka. I also want to introduce.
Also, Blanca, we have to give a shout out, and I'd like to give a special shout out to Altitude Water.
It's coming up.
Oh,
it's
okay.
coming up. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely, 100%. What's next, Kirill? Who's our next sponsor? Hustlers with Ambition. BZ is the owner of Hustlers with Ambition, and he's in the hospital tonight. He just had gallbladder surgery. So our hearts and prayers go out to BZ and an early recovery. And every Monday night at 7 o'clock, we have an affiliate meeting. We call our affiliate team the Laws of Life Loyals. This is how loyal he is. He's in the hospital, and he still signs in last night at 7 o'clock for the affiliate meeting. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about commitment, loyalty. If you're asking yourself, why aren't you making the amount of money you want to make right now? There's a reason. It's not a coincidence. One of the puzzle pieces is missing. Is it commitment? Is it loyalty? Is it being in integrity with your word? Is it ethics? Is it exercise? Is it mindset clearance? You have to figure out that puzzle piece, but a really great way to get some mentorship and also create some additional revenue is to join our affiliates club. But best of luck and prayers to BZ. Now we have a new sponsor, and that is Altitude Water. So I'm going to let Stephen talk about them.
Yes, so Altitude Waters, shout out to Altitude Waters. These guys are phenomenal. This is a great man, a great owner of this. So what they have is they have machines that are extracting water from air without any source of water. So it's kind of like reciprocation, condensation, and it's filtered and it has minerals. The pH levels are amazing. So if the world came to an end with water, you would want to get one of these machines. And Altitude Waters is located here in South Florida. They distribute worldwide. They have a self-sufficient trailer that has solar panels. So this machine can be powered by solar panels, just 2 solar panels. And without a water source, you can be getting water from the atmosphere without being connected to any type of energy other than 2 solar panels, and extracting water from air. And it makes anywhere from they have machines that make 30 gallons a day all the way to 300 gallons a day. So Altitude Waters is a partner. They're a sponsor. We love them. And they're also a business partner with the Vodka brand. And I'm super grateful to those guys over there at Altitude Water. Thank you.
That is amazing. I want to thank Will Gamble for coming into the Zoom. I want to thank everybody for being here. And also we want to thank Generation Wealth, that if you have any funding needs, if you're building the brand, building the vision, but you don't have the funding to bring the vision alive, you can give me a call or Stephen a call, and we will connect you to Generation Wealth, our newest sponsor. And I think that those are our sponsors. I also want to give a thank. Well, I'm also a sponsor. I told you about my law firm. I also want to thank Mark Siegel with QPT CBD. We'll let him share his life, his law of life in a moment. But let's go. There's a few other announcements. Of course, once again, happy birthday to Stephen with Miami Cam Squad. So remember, Stephen, what's a good birthday gift for someone? A referral. Someone needs video, photo, refer. All right, so we're gonna take a break from the slides, and right now we're gonna hear let's hear from Mark Siegel, your message. Do you have a message for the world today, Mark Siegel, or a law of life you want to share? And then we're going to go to our Broward College students. Okay, so it looks like Mark may not be here right now, and that's okay. All right, so Stu, what's your law of life today before we go to our Broward College team next?
Thank you, Blanca. And of course, got to give a shout out to Steve. Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños. Thank you so much.
My brother.
You're the best, man. God bless you. The laws of life for tonight is finding your God-given purpose and then execute.
Love that. I absolutely love that. It's all about execution, getting it done. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to, we have 2 special guests here tonight, Talia Allende and Simone Clark from Broward College. So Talia, I'll turn it over to you to take the lead.
Well, before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much, Blanca, for allowing us last minute to come on here and chat with you. Our assignment is due Thursday, so we're just crunching the wheels at this point. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I had the amazing honor of meeting Blanca a while back within the entertainment field, and she is just a force to be reckoned with. The history of her is just amazing. She did her bachelor's in NYU in political science and then moved on to Capital Law and got her JD degree there. And she's just a force to be reckoned with in the entertainment law. We all talk about her, like, let her read your contracts, let her read your contracts. That's what she's doing. I've sent her various artists her way for, any contract information because, in the entertainment business, they treat artists like dairy cows. They want you to pump out the milk, and once you have no more milk to pump out, they toss you to the side and cut you up, and they, grind you. So thank you so much, Blanca, for being that beacon of information and protecting all of the artists whenever they come to you with their contracts and you give them the real spiel. Without further ado, I do have a couple of things that I would love to ask you, and it's regarding AI and within the law practices. So I want to know, AI is becoming more common in law firms for research, drafting documents, and reviewing contracts. Where do you see AI fitting into the legal profession over the next 5 years?
I think AI is going to help us when used responsibly. It's going to be an incredible tool to get the research product that we need faster. But we still need ourselves. We need human beings to verify the citations on that research and to make sure. And this is where I think AI isn't going to fill the gap. There are some very technical arguments that when you're looking at a legal case and you're comparing it to the facts of case law, you have to read these cases really carefully, and you have to see the holding of the court based on the facts of the case in that citation. And then you have to compare those facts to your case to argue to the judge that this case should apply. It's an art. People think that the practice of law is a science, but it's also an art. So I think AI is excellent to identify cases that relate to your legal client. I think it's excellent to summarize depositions. And we can use AI now with deposition summaries. We can use AI to reference every time the witness said yellow, that the light was yellow, what exact page numbers and line numbers of the deposition. AI can do things in a way many times faster than a human, but the art of sculpting the law to win in court is a completely different art. And I don't think AI is quite there yet. But AI helps write demand letters, that first draft. AI can help you write a small claim complaint. But AI can't help you argue in front of a judge, and AI can't help you try a case in front of a jury, where you have to connect with the jury. And that's another benefit of this platform, because when you're practicing speaking on camera and you're practicing connecting with other people, you're becoming a better business person. You don't even realize it. But many ways AI helps us stay organized, but it's not going to master the sculpting process of law.
So we can agree that AI is not replacing human jobs in the law, in the practice of law. There's a lot of people that I talk to that have that fear. They talk about these things whenever I have conversations with them, and they say, paralegals are not going to exist in about 20 years. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. You should use it as a tool and see it as that.
You know what? Human beings lawyers will always need paralegals. For example, when I did a jury trial on a construction accident case, I had to go through thousands of documents from the Federal Transportation Commission and thousands of sub rules, sub statutes. My paralegal kept me alive. She worked with me side by side every weekend. She helped me catalog those exhibits. She helped me build my trial notebooks. And during the trial, if I needed a statute, she handed it to me on the spot. Like, it's not just AI. Like, AI helps the paralegal and it helps the lawyer. But guess what, guys? We are still human. And we have to remember that we still need each other, which is another reason for this platform. We need to stay connected, eyeball to eyeball, person to person. So yes, whoever works hard, keeps a clean mindset, stays positive, and keeps smiling, they will win in their industry.
I want to keep my questions on AI and within the entertainment law. So I want to know, in entertainment law, we're seeing AI create music, artwork, voices, and even digital versions of celebrities. What are some of the biggest legal challenges surrounding AI generated content and intellectual property?
That's a great question. Well, we have to be really, really careful, because especially with music, because we have a member of our community that creates AI music. I've actually written a song. So I had a concept for a song and I wrote it. AI helped me bring it together and make it rhyme like a rap song. It's called Oncologist. But yeah, because I say I'm on call 7 days a week. But what we have to be careful with is, again, it's that double checking. AI can have hallucinations. AI could accidentally copy someone else's song or a phrase or even a sentence. So I think AI helps us create and it makes us faster producers, but we do have to trademark our music just like we would before AI. We have to copyright our books. I trademarked The Laws of Life in 28 categories of television. Do you know that there's over 60 violators right now of my trademark? And
Really?
I have my intellectual property attorney sending out letters to people, other lawyers using the laws of, other podcasters using the laws of. So we still, this is goes to your first question, is we still need lawyers and we still have to hire the right lawyer to protect our intellectual property, in my opinion. Even as a lawyer myself, I still hired my intellectual property attorney to file the patent. So, and my trademark. I also patented an email management program in addition to the trademark of The Laws of Life. So, what I'm going to say is my mother used to have an expression, when you go cheap, you pay twice. So,
That's true.
if you really believe in your vision and you care about your intellectual property, cover it, hire an attorney. And if you tell me that you don't have the money to hire an attorney, then that means you're not seeing your vision big enough. Then get funding from Generation Funding. Then do something about it. I didn't drive a car for 3 years during COVID. I put every dollar into my business to protect my intellectual property, and I put everything into my business. If you care about your vision, you'll do everything to protect it. And AI is not going to save you. You still have to work with the right professionals.
Right. So as someone with decades of experience, what advice would you give law students and future attorneys who want to stay competitive in a world where AI is becoming a part of everyday legal practices?
Well, I think that everybody in the community can predict my answer to that question. What I think sets a lawyer apart is their ability to care about their community, to be philanthropic, to to really be a communicator with their community. I hear a lot of feedback that lawyers, first of all, they don't call their clients back, they don't have events, they're not connected, they're spiritually disconnected. And after I went through a tough time in my life, I studied relationship coaching for 2 years. I worked with a vision coach for 5 years. I worked with a meditation coach for 3 years. And I want to tell you, I'm a better lawyer now because I've become spiritually connected. And that is my advice to all lawyers, is that they become so ingratiated in the law that they forget what it means again to be empathetic, to have good bedside manner with your client, to be kind, to be patient, and to possess the important core values of humanity. That's, you can be a great lawyer and you can be a good person. You can be both. But that's the number one thing I've learned, is that you have to expand your horizons and learn different areas of spirituality and of health and of wellness, so that you're a balanced person. Because if you are hungry, if you are not healthy, if you have alcohol in your system too extreme, if you are not balanced, you can't be good at any job, lawyer or not. That's my opinion.
Well, I want to thank you for answering my questions. I'm going to give it to my classmate, Simone Clark, because she has her own set of questions.
Sounds great. And thank you again.
Thank you, Talia. Hello, Miss Blanca.
Hello, Miss
Nice
Simone.
seeing you again today.
You
Two times in
too.
a charm. So I have three questions for you, and I reframed my question being here because my mind is open to the laws of life. It's like there's a shift going on. So I reframed my questions to benefit the best from this environment. So here's my first question. What was the law of life in the interim of your career that made in the interim of your life, like that made you want to be an attorney, that made you say yes to this life, this path?
Wow, that is such an important question. What is the law of life? I would say, well, I'll tell you, when I was growing up, I was the daughter of two Romanian immigrants. And in my family, they said you had to be a doctor or a lawyer or you would be disowned. And I've said this a few times in many interviews, but your question is a different question. After I became a lawyer, I chose law because I can't be in the medical field because I can't take the sight of blood. I don't like hospitals and I like fashion. And I told my parents I can't wear white every single day. The hospital setting will not work for me. I want to be around people. So the passion to communicate has always been in my blood. The law of life is this: to be successful in what you do, you must love the primary skill involved in what you do. You cannot do what you don't love. And even since kindergarten, I have been on the announcements. Like all through elementary school, I did the announcements and I loved doing the announcements. And then in middle high and high, you too? And then in middle school and high school, I did forensics where I competed in the practice of prose and poetry. And then in law school, I was in the moot court and argued before the Supreme Court and then became a lawyer. So I enjoy being a lawyer because it involves the most important skill, which is the ability to communicate. So the law of life is do what you love in order to do what you do well.
Wonderful. I love that. I love that mindset. I love it. The second question I have for you: what is one brutal truth in managing power dynamics in the legal field?
Another fabulous question. Well, there's a lot of I've encountered as a media host, I've encountered a lot of resistance to my passion for broadcasting and media. A lot of people in my age group are terrified of social media. They're terrified of hosting events. And believe it or not, they were not in favor many times of the Laws of Life platform. And I explained to them that this is a non religious, non political platform where we're elevating people and we're giving people a slice of light. So that was always a big dispute in my office that they didn't really like the laws of life. And one day I told them, if you don't support the laws of life, which is my mission, my purpose, then I can't work here anymore. And ironically enough, the laws of life was responsible for 40% of the leads that they generated because I was meeting so many people, they want to work with me. But so that was basically a non negotiable for me. But in terms of power struggle, many times in my corporate career, when I was at Aquin, I invented a process called the intake process, where I helped them design an email system to process their legal mail. And somebody named Russell came up to me and he said, Blanca, you're senior counsel. Why are you coming up with new processes? Like, that's not your job. And I said, Russell, that's my nature. I'm an innovator. I want to look for ways to make things better. And that actually changed the entire trajectory of my career because I patented an email system and I was the only law firm in America that had an email management system that could process 20,000 pieces of email a day. And that company then acquired 5 more companies. And I was the only law firm because I had the system that could manage all those emails and made me one of the highest paid lawyers in Florida because I innovated a system. So there's two types of conflict: reconcilable and non-reconcilable. If someone is interfering with your morals, your ethics, or your values, non-negotiable. But if there's a way to show them that they're wrong, or show them, hey, this is a good idea, can you consider it? Can you see the value? You have to stay diplomatic. You cannot be aggressive. You cannot be hostile. You cannot be disrespectful. And you use the art of persuasion to show them the value. And especially if it doesn't cost them anything to show them the value, you can win. But diplomacy is the law of life, and choosing what you're willing to give in and what you're not. And I was never going to give in on letting the laws of life go. It's too important to me. It's now a mission.
Amen.
Wonderful. I love I really appreciate your response. Now, with the laws of life, there are many people, many networks within the network. How do you build trust with clients, with potential clients, and with people within your network that are not usually part of the internet space? How do you build that trust? Because you know, when you market a product or a service or being part of a group to someone or persons who may need it that don't understand it, how do you develop trust? Because I feel like I'm in a safe environment. I feel like this is where I need to be. So how do you get other people to recognize that this is a safe space and this is a space that is highly beneficial to you?
Well, one of the main ways is what I call the process of cultivation. When you meet a person, you can only meet so many people in person in your life. And you have to choose, if you decide, to make an impact upon them. And a lot of people, they go to events, they meet people, but they never follow up after the event. So one of my laws of life is you have to keep it personal. It goes back to that law of humanity. You've got to send them a text message the next morning. It was so nice to meet you. Reference something that you talked about. Like, for example, our guest of honor tonight, Kendall, I met him 2 years ago at the Super Bowl. And now he was in town and he called me because he said, I got your invite to the show tonight. I would love to be a part of it, because I continued the communication throughout the relationship. So step one is you got to cultivate. Step two is you start with friendship first. Step three is pick up the phone. Don't just text, especially if they're not technologically adept. And step four is, now this is where you can use AI to maintain your communication levels through emails, text messages. And that's why I've been doing this show every Tuesday for the last 7 years, because that's what keeps me connected to the world. So everyone should have their own event, or they should have a segment inside this show. I've always said, invite the people you meet to the laws of life. We can all connect. It's a process of connection. And also with the live show. So the key is to host people, to make them feel welcome, and to answer your phone. If you don't answer your phone, the trust is gone. You gotta answer your phone. You gotta be accessible, and you gotta be a good friend. It's a lot of work, and that's why most people fail at doing it, because they prioritize other things. But to me, connection's the most important. That's why I'm so grateful for all of you being in the Zoom tonight, because that is how we stay connected.
Thank you,
Definitely.
Blanca. And I can see where all this conversation that we're having on this Zoom meeting can translate in so many facets of life. And I am really, really happy that Talia brought me here tonight. I hope I could bring somebody else too. So thank you, Blanca.
Just
Always.
Blanca, that's
Yes.
definitely how I got to be on the radio station doing the personality, just because of that right there. Networking, cultivating, picking up on people, even though they're not thinking about me, I'm thinking about them. I literally have a list of people that I'm like, let me see what they're doing. Let me see what they're doing. Let me see what they're doing. Because I
You're
want
good
to
at that. You're really good at that.
Well,
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your experience and your vision for the future of the legal profession. This conversation has been incredibly insightful, especially for us preparing to enter the field. On behalf of Broward College Paralegal Program, we'd love to sincerely thank you for welcoming us to the Laws of Life talk show. It has truly been an honor to be here and to learn from some of your experience and passion for law. Thank you for having us. And we wish you to continue success with your show and to be an amazing force within the legal field.
Thank you so much, Talia and Simone. You
You.
are absolutely incredible. You're going to be a great credit to the legal profession. Everyone, let's give Talia and Simone a huge round of applause. And a big shout out to Broward College. And anytime you want the Laws of Life to come and visit, you let us know. And I also see Jackie Jacques is in the audience. Is Jackie one of your supporters, or what inspired you to come to the show tonight, Jackie?
Hello, you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you for
Hi,
being
Blanca.
here.
Thank you so much. You added me on Instagram and I saw that you're a lawyer. I am not in a lawyer field, but I am a business owner. And it's always good to know legal stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. Once again, the power of connecting and sending a message to someone instead of just saying, oh, this person followed me, but sending them a personal message. The audio note, sending a personal note. This is Blanca. I would love for you to come into the show tonight, be a part of it. And if you can do more using AI, great. But there's many times I spend 10 hours just sending people audios, and it's really fun. I just send them audios. Hey, Simone. Hey, Talia. Hey, Stu. Hey, John. So just keep connecting. All right. Well, let's take a quick Law of Life break, and then we'll bring up Kendall Newson, our NFL football player. But Moses is also a podcaster. Moses, what did you think of the conversation on the practice of law? Do you have any questions, comments, or anything you want to share?
Nah, I think it's amazing. I love to see, the connection of other people in the same field. I feel like anybody who knows law, adds value and brings value to the table because we all need some type of knowledge of how the law works because it's a very complex thing. And, business owners, entrepreneurs, no matter what, if you look at a successful company, there's always a division for legal. So I like that you're all able to connect that way.
Absolutely. And it's so exciting because, see, this is another example, the law of the unknown magic. So when Talia called me and she said, hey, can our team from Broward College be on your show? I said, absolutely. And now Talia, it turns out, is a broadcaster on the FM1 radio. And now she's invited me to be on the FM radio station. So this is karma. When you put out good energy, you are going to receive good energy. Just keep doing good things. And you never know what's going to happen, but just keep smiling. Just keep shining, keep working hard, stay positive, and everything will always go your way. And speaking of smiles and incredible people, let's bring up Kendall Newson, former Miami Dolphins football player, to the stage. Kendall, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me on. Can you hear me pretty good?
We can hear you great. We have a great audience here tonight. We have our students from Broward College, Simone and Talia. We have Stu Feldman, a member of the Laws of Life, Michael Embry, Moses, Jackie is here, and Pedro. We have a great team here tonight. And being in the NFL, we met in New Orleans 2 years ago, and we stayed connected. So my question is, and we also saw each other in Atlanta, where we shared the stage on a panel. But tell us, when did you start playing football? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, football. I started playing football with the Miami Dolphins in 2001. But before that, I was at Tennessee State as a wide receiver, and before that, I was at Columbia High School in Decatur, Georgia, in Atlanta. Played wide receiver, DB, I ran some track. I did basketball as well. But when I got to college, I really wanted to play football. So I just focused on football. Even though I could play basketball, I just focused on football.
That's incredible. So was there a person when you were younger that said, Kendall, you are NFL material? Who was the person that believed in you and pushed you?
That's a good question because without my coach in college, I wouldn't have knew if I had the tangibles or the size to play in the NFL. But because he played in the NFL, he looked at my work ethic and he said, "You know what? You can make it to the NFL." And once he told me that, I was a freshman in college. He told me that I changed I changed my mindset of practice. So every day before I went to practice, I would tell myself before I stepped on the field, I would say, make this practice the best practice you ever had. Whatever you're thinking about, whatever's going on in your mind, girls, school, whatever's going on, drop it right now. And when you go out here, you make sure you practice as hard as you can. And I think that's what changed my perspective to propel me to make it to the NFL.
That's incredible. So how did you get the invitation? Tell us about that moment when you found out you were getting into the NFL.
Well, there were a lot of kind of moments coming up into it. Like your senior year, you're making the stats. You got agents and people calling you. You got letters and people wanting to come and meet you. And then you get the workout at your school where the scouts come to your school and they work you out. And then they have this thing called the NFL Combine. Most of the guys that are invited to the NFL Combine are going to make a team or free agency some type of way. I can remember when the draft was coming up. I had did everything I could, had gained weight, had got faster, had got bigger, did everything I could do to make it there. And draft day, I'm sitting in the back room, just waiting on my name to be called. And the Jacksonville Jaguars called me and said, "Hey, we're gonna take you with this pick. You're gonna be a Jacksonville Jaguars." My whole family went crazy, screaming. We running at the house, neighbors coming over, shaking my hand. It was crazy. So you knew at that moment that you had accomplished something that you had been working on since you was a kid.
That's amazing. So how did your life change? So did you finish the college and then go into the NFL, or how did that work?
No, it's like if you were already done with your school in the 4 years, then you would graduate. But if you wasn't done, you might had another year or so to finish up graduating. You still just went straight on into the league. And like right now, I'm back in school now with audio production, where we're doing ADR, Foley, sound design for games. So I'm learning all of those type of things to do that for like what we're doing, podcasts and commercials and film and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's incredible. So after the Jaguars, what happened next? Then you got invited to be on the Dolphins?
Yeah, so my career was drafted to the Jacksonville Jaguars. After the Jacksonville Jaguars, I went to Tennessee for about 6 months there. And then I was out the league for about another 4 or 5 months. And I got called over to the Dolphins. And I went to play in NFL Europe for a year and came back and played with the Dolphins for the next 4 years. So I kind of moved around throughout the league, different teams, but it was always NFL ball, NFL players. I played with in Tennessee. I played with Steve McNair, who passed away, Eddie George, and in Jacksonville I played with Fred Taylor, Mark Brunell. Here in Miami, I played with Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, um, Ricky Williams, Chris Chambers, just a whole and Junior Seau, rest his soul as well. So just a stellar group of guys I had an opportunity to play with.
What was it like? What was the culture of the Miami Dolphins like?
Well, you are a professional when you make it to the NFL. So your body is your number one asset, to that team or to yourself. So the nature of playing in the league is, or with the Dolphins, you got to take care of your body. You got two-a-days, you got camp, you got to drink your water, you got to eat right, you got to get your rest, you got to sleep, you got to be detail oriented. Everything at practice is always filmed. So whether you messing up or you doing something, like I tell people all the time, when you're at your job, they don't have a camera right on you when you're at your job. In the NFL, they do. So you can't make mistakes, and you got 7 to 6 other guys that want your position. So it's very competitive. If you're not the guy that they're gonna want, they're gonna cut you. They're gonna release you. And I saw guys sitting right next to me in the locker room. And that morning, the guys coming there, we're like, "Oh God, he's about to be released, right? Or he's about to be cut." And it's so cutthroat, but it's right in your face. And like I said, the details of playing in the NFL are always at a high level. It's always everything that you do is at a high level.
What moment in the NFL were you at your highest level of tension, and how did you learn from it?
I think when I got to the Miami Dolphins, I was at my highest level because I had played enough football to understand what to do. But you're always learning. Like there's always somebody a little bit better than you, or a little bit not a little bit slower than you, a little faster than you, a little bigger than you. So you're always learning your technique. I think the best thing about being a receiver is you have to be a technician. I used to watch Jerry Rice growing up when I was a kid, and I was like, I want to be like Jerry Rice because he ran the precise routes. If it's 4 yards down there, then it's 4 yards. It's not three. If it's 20 yards down there, it's 20 yards, not 17. And you got to be able to come out of your break right at that 20-yard line, because if you got a guy like Tom Brady trying to throw you the ball, he's looking for you at 20 yards, not 17, right?
Wow. I never thought about it that way. The precision of the play has to be followed to the letter of the blueprint.
That's right. That's
Which
right.
means
And
you
your
have to know
playbook.
exactly how to throw that ball at the right pace.
That's right. At the right, and everybody is on the same page. So we practice so much, and you learn your playbook. So your playbook is like your Bible. It's like you gotta know your Bible just like you gotta know your playbook. And these things that we're learning are changing from teams to teams. Like you can go to another team, they got a different playbook, but it's the same down and out, or it's the same down and in, or it's the same go route. We might just call it different with different terminology. We might call a go route fox, or we might call a go route cheetah. You know,
Exactly.
so it's
Exactly.
different. So you have to learn it, and that's what makes the team so much of a team, because you're learning, I would say, the culture of your team. You're learning the culture of your business partner that you're working with. You're learning the culture, and you got each other's back. And then you just got to make sure that you're handling what you're supposed to handle. And win your one-on-ones. If I'm going against you one-on-one, I gotta win, and you're trying to win. Somebody's gonna win and lose, but don't lose as much as you should win more than you lose.
If you follow the play, you should have a higher proportionality of winning. But if multiple players don't follow the play, no one's going to win.
You got an undisciplined team. People jumping off sides, having penalties, people not showing up for work. They showing up late. They don't want to do the work. You're not gonna win with that team. You gotta have some discipline.
Absolutely. And this same practice of following the blueprint of the play is identical in business. You can use AI to follow a strategy, but if your whole team isn't on board with that strategy, you cannot execute, like Stu said at the beginning. You cannot execute.
Right.
So what was it difficult for you? What was the turning point?
I think what was difficult for me was, I got injured. I tore my knee up on a really rainy day when we was playing Pittsburgh. And to have that type of injury, being so young and having so much potential in my future, it devastated me. But I knew that I had some great things that I wanted to do. So I went back into, my thinking, and just kind of got to myself, and I started going fishing. And what I saw with fishing was, from a little boy, my dad would always take us fishing. And I just saw me being able to reach people and reach our community or anybody through fishing and show them that, hey, there's somebody out here that cares about you. There's somebody that is going through the same thing that you're going through. So when I get these young kids, I see what they're going through and I can be able to mentor them and teach them like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Why do you want to be that? You know, did you really research that? That's why that's what. So it's basically a dialogue communication thing that I fell in love with when it came to fishing. And now my organization is called Teach a Child to Fish. We've been going over 18 years now, and we're doing some awesome things where we're setting up chapters in each state because we want to wrap this love around our communities and show them, hey, let's go back to the old days. Give a child a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a child a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Man.
Oh, I have to tell you, that is inspiring. 18 years of teaching and mentoring kids.
Yep.
That is amazing. So, what's your number one ask of the universe? Like, what would, after 18 years of running a nonprofit, running a mission, what would be the biggest way that people could support your nonprofit today?
I would love for people to, if it's me or if it's somebody else, I would love for people to really learn to trust and believe in the person that they're talking to, because the person that you're talking to has a true passion and has a true discernment to do what they're doing. Sometimes we overlook the people that are right in front of you and we don't help them or we don't go the extra mile to be in their corner. So for me, you know, there might be some Miami Dolphin that has a better career or has better stats. But I say this, for me, I'm very passionate what I do. And I'm very passionate of my people that we take care of, you know. So one might have a better career, might make more money or whatever, but there's a need for what I'm doing. I can sign a guy to a basketball contract for $50 million, but the big and local companies want to give me $5,000, $10,000 to take care of the kids that they're going to have a problem with later. So it's like we have to put our money where is that, you know, in our community and in programs like that. So I just charge people to, you know, really look at, you know, what I'm doing. If you believe in it and you believe in me, then hey, let's have a conversation. Let's get some of these things done in our communities and let's move it forward.
Well, I love your mission. And tell us one more time, how do we follow your nonprofit?
You can go to my Instagram, Kendall Newson, or you can go to Teach a Child to Fish. It's Teach a Child to Fish, which is TACTF.org. TeachAChildToFish.org, abbreviated TACTF.org.
I love that. And for the record, I taught one day, I was with my kids in West Virginia, and they said they wanted to go fishing. I did not know how to fish, so I just took them to Dick's Sporting Goods and I said, look, I have no idea how to fish, but just sell me a bunch of rods, give me some bait, and we're going to figure this out. Give me a couple of tips. And my daughter caught a fish the very first day. And it
Oh,
really is the greatest feeling in the world to catch a fish. It is a lot of
yes, it
fun.
is. I call it the
And
secrets of fishing. I call it the secrets of
yes,
fishing, right? Like you're fishing, but your mind is in a place of peace. It's in a place
yes.
where you can understand what's going on in life, you know. And when you come away from it, you're ready to go back to that space because it's helping you so much, you know.
It's so true. And you have the best conversations with the people when you're fishing. It's just a very calming, very wonderful experience. I think it's incredible. And two more questions, then we're going to open it up to the audience for their questions.
Okay.
I'm genuinely curious, what inspired you to study audio engineering and
Oh,
technology?
well, what made me really want to, I kept searching for what I wanted to do, right? And it was like, do I do agriculture? Do I do this? Do I do that? And I was like, well, school is hard. I need to find something that's gonna make me want to do the homework, where I can like make sure I get it done. And it was music because I love music. I love making music. I'm a drummer myself, and I can play the keyboard and the bass guitar a bit. It was a natural move to me to go into audio production. Yep.
I love that. And what is your number one law of life today?
My number one what? Say it again.
Your number one law of life.
My number one law would be it's okay to not have because I know you want to do good. I know I want to do good. So I always tell myself it's okay, whatever's going on. I know I want to do good. So it's always self-encouragement to let myself know whatever I'm going through, I know I want to do good. I want to do great.
Love that. Well, Kendall, it is an honor to have you as a guest of honor on our show.
Thank you.
You're a great friend, and I'm so thankful that we have stayed friends all these years. So let's open it up to the audience. Raise your digital hand if you'd like to ask Kendall a question. Remember, the law of the question is if you don't have a question, you want to follow the practice of create. Okay, Stu, what's your question?
Hey, Kendall, I really appreciate you, and thank you for being on here. Just
No problem.
and then I'll ask a question, but being in an NFL and a football player, as a non-football player, and as as a more of a fan. By the way, I rep the U. It's all about the U, baby.
The U.
Yeah, man. But and see, it's taught me great lessons. If you follow football and see the discipline as you exemplified, and hear about that as a fan, if you will, or just I can look at my life and say, okay, well, I don't have a coach who's looking over my shoulder. By the way, I don't have a camera looking at me. And so that integrity is what you do when no one's looking, right? And
Right.
do I really put out the effort I need to? All these things that even that Blanca talked about earlier about the discipline that it takes, and there's a lot that goes into being successful, and we have to pay attention. So I just appreciate what the NFL and college football, the discipline that it takes, and how you shared that, and the stories in your life that so I just
Thank
want to
you.
thank you for the comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Sue.
All right, let's go next to Jackie. You're on mute, Jackie. There you go.
All right, so Kendall, looking back at your transition from professional sports into business, what type of relationships or strategic partnerships have created like the most unexpected opportunities for you?
I think what happened for me was when I retired from the NFL, I started to figure out my post career and what I wanted to do. And I had to go at it with the same type of grit. I had to go to every trade show, had to go to every Zoom, every podcast. I had to just go and meet as many as people I could, get their card, get their number, build the relationships. Sometimes I didn't want to go. I didn't have the money to go. I didn't have the money to buy the ticket. So you made a relationship to get there. And I think, coming out of that, was me always thinking the entrepreneur side about wanting to build my businesses up. Was if I had to work with somebody, I would do it. I would sign an agreement and I would do it. But I think one of the biggest companies that I did work with was Bass Pro Shops. I signed a lucrative deal with them in 2013, and right around COVID. That deal was because I was going to all of these trade shows. I was showing up. I bought my own boat from them. I spent $50,000, bought my own boat for them, showing up, letting them know this is what I want to do. And I think from football, it taught me, show up on time. On time is on time, but 10 and 20 minutes on time before time is really on time. So it was those things that helped me out through my days of meeting people.
Thank you. I need to work on my time management.
Time management is key. Time management is key. It changes if you can just get a little bit more organized in the time management. It changes. Yeah.
I
Thank you
love
for the
that question.
Thank
Yes, thank you, Jackie, and great response, Kendall. John Weldon, you have a question for Kendall.
What's up, Kendall? So what's up, brother? So I have a question based on core principle. Is that do you think that your success in football and in new business, do you use for your fuel to surpass the obstacles that we all go through? Was it more fear-based, passion-based, more vision-based? What do you think your fuel was to keep going and keep pushing past football, past business, and to be where you're at today?
I think it's a little of all of that. You know, the disappointment of certain things that you haven't got to do in life. But I think you really look at being successful. You know, one for your family, one for yourself. And if you're not a quitter, if you're not cheating, like Stu was saying, when nobody's watching, when if you're not like cheating on the test, like I can go to AI and get the answers, right? But I didn't read the book or I didn't study. I don't know it for myself. So it was always something that I looked at as, am I going to touch the line when I'm running these wind sprints from the coach? Am I that guy that didn't touch the line that coach is talking about? So in business, it's the same thing. Did I go the extra mile? Do I really want to do this, or is somebody else pushing me to do this that I don't really want to do this? I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm at this 9 to 5. I don't know why the reason why I'm here. So I quit a job. I quit well, I stopped working at a job because I wanted to go into fishing. I was doing healthcare and assisted living. I was like, and one day I just said, "This not me. I really want to do this." So I had to stop and push myself to where I wanted to be. And I think those tangibles of knowing yourself, that what you really want to do, drives you to be successful.
Yes. It sort of ties into what I said when Simone and Talia were talking to me, like, what does it take to be successful? You have to love what you do, and you love mentoring children. And what it really is you love making an impact on the world.
Right, right.
And
And
that drive, and if you don't feel like you're making an impact, then you didn't feel fulfilled, and that's why you've done this nonprofit for 18 years.
Yeah, because you can go work for any job, but when I'm sitting there looking and I'm working at the job, I'm thinking like, what am I doing really? What impact am I doing? How am I helping somebody? I'm working over here at whatever. It's not fulfilling to me. I have to have something that's more than that. I think that's by me playing on a team. You're trying to reach a championship. You're going somewhere. You're trying to reach something. You got a goal in mind it. And certain career job placement doesn't have that feel for me.
Well, I believe and I pray that I'm right on this point, and I want to thank you, Kendall. Your interview was extremely inspiring to me because it made me realize how focused we have to be, following the blueprint of strategy and doing what we love no matter what.
Yep.
Even if we have to
Yep.
make sacrifices, even if we may not in the beginning get everything we want, like with the consistency of a job, so to speak, a job, but you're going for the mission. Talia, you have a question or a comment? Talk to us.
I do have a question for the gentleman. So the NIL deals are like super duper new, maybe like a couple years, that it's been brought to the college students and given them a great opportunity. What would you say to them, like give them steps on how to brand themselves? Because my nephew, he's like, I'm a beast in basketball. I'm a beast in basketball. I'm like, okay, so how do we not capitalize, but prepare for you to, one, get accepted into a great college, and for two, be ready to accept an NIL deal now that it's new?
That is an awesome question, and I love that you asked that question. I'm working with tons of people in the NIL deal spot, but I'll tell you this right now. You said capitalize on it. That's the main thing. So right now in the industry, these kids are uh, huge companies. So if you think of your nephew, I think it was, right? He's a huge company that can scale. And right now I'm working with a company where we're teaching young athletes how to become Coca-Cola, where people can buy stocks in them right now. And that's where it's going. If you're going to pay a kid 40, 60 million dollars or $10 million, and he's a freshman college, you're thinking like, when I was playing, that was nowhere around, right? So these kids now, they have the opportunity to be Coca-Cola or Google. So we have to put the structure around them that is a financial structure. I work with ABC Financial Group, and I work with another company that is structuring a NIL platform for these kids to go on that are projected to be NIL recipients and build their company from ground up, where me and you and everybody on this call can buy stocks into that athlete's company.
That's exciting. That's what a great question, Talia. I love that. And
Yes.
yeah,
So I would say to that too, be careful what you signing, because you can sign the athletes' rights away with some of these people that say they can give them an NIL deal. Even the schools, be very careful, because the schools can block your son from going to another school if he gets a bigger deal. So they're trying to work a lot of that out, but be very, very careful with signing NIL deals, and make sure you consult with a lawyer first.
Definitely. I'm actually a legal student, so my focus is entertainment law. So this is like right up my alley right now, with sports as well and branding and all that good stuff. But I don't mean to poach this gentleman, Blanca, but I actually am a radio personality at a radio station in Miami. I would absolutely love to like get your contact information and possibly you spread this information, because the younger generation, they don't really know too much, and since it's such a new field right now, like you could
Yes.
definitely be a professor in this.
I would love to take the opportunity.
let's go. Let's give a round of applause on that. That's what we call a magical moment in the laws of life, where an opportunity grows out of the show when all of our collective energy comes together. So when you have Kendall on the show, and God willing, I'll get to be on the show, then we all grow together. Let's go. And then we can all tune in and listen to the show. And, maybe there's going to be more ways. All right, Moses has his hand raised. We got about 5 minutes left in the show, so we're right on schedule. Moses, what is your question, my dear?
Yeah, from an entrepreneur's perspective, when you're building something from the ground up, how do you know when you're dealing with people specifically, how do you know to pivot, and how do you know when to keep going forward and keep like persisting, or to just pause and pivot when dealing with people?
That's a good question, but I think you're asking like multiple questions on that same line. But I could answer it like this. I would always say, don't second guess what you're really thinking. If someone shows you a look or shows you who they really are, don't really second guess it. Sometimes we can always say, I'm gonna give them another shot, I'm gonna give them another chance, or I didn't really see what I saw, right? I really did. That person said that, but I really didn't see that. But you really did see that. So within your business, you gotta remember, you're an entrepreneur, you're a CEO, you're a leader. So you have to have these leadership qualities to bring out the best in people. And sometimes things are not going to work. Sometimes the company's not going to work. I would say don't give up. Go all the way until you have to say, okay, I have to move on. But don't second guess yourself from what your eyes are seeing. Okay, you look people straight in the eye, you shake their hand, you let them know you mean business, and you come correct. But don't forget what you're seeing. Okay.
Think that's a great advice, and I would add on to that, and I'm going to give you another example, going back to Talia's question about AI. You can use AI to do a background check, but I was about to do a huge business deal with a person, and I hired my private investigator to do the background check, and the person I was doing business with, they had a clean record, but guess what? They also investigate related parties, looking at the record. And he was affiliated with a related party that was being sued for $12 million. So
See?
it's not just the person you're doing business with, guys. It's also the person they're affiliated with. That's what that old line again. If you go cheap, you pay twice. If you keep blindly relying on AI and not using the professionals that are necessary to protect yourself, you could get hurt. So don't be cheap. If you're about to do a huge deal with someone, it's not enough just to search them on Google. Oh, they don't have a criminal record, because it may not come up. You may have to call the county where they grew up. Do they have any criminal record? Call the county where they worked. Call that. Like, there's more. Not everything is online. Not everything makes it online. So just because it's not online doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So just remember,
Right.
trust, but verify. Trust, but verify. And all right, well, once again, these were incredible questions from our audience. I want to thank again Kendall Newson, former Miami Dolphin NFL player. Congratulations on all your success, and thank you for the impact you're making on the world through your charity. Everybody follow Kendall Newson on Instagram. I also want to thank our Broward College counterparts, Simone and Talia, for doing such a beautiful job on your presentation tonight. I think you guys are going to get an A. I vote. Let's give them a round if we think they should all get an A on this project. What do you think, guys? I think it's definitely an A. And Pedro, did you have any laws of life you want to share? Because you were so nice to come into the studio tonight and support. Any closing thoughts or comments? Remember Pedro for your DJ needs. Pedro, what's in your heart? We can't hear Pedro. For some reason, the technological, you'd have to come out, you'd have to come see me. But Pedro, thank you for all you do. I think we've heard everyone's voice tonight. I always believe that everyone's voice should be heard. Does anybody want to share a last law of life before we continue to move forward, before we wrap up tonight's show? Law of life going once, law of life going twice. All right, guys. Simone, you have one?
Yes, from Mr. Newson, from that conversation, we cannot make a good deal with a bad person.
Could you say it one more time, please?
We cannot make a good deal with a bad person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, tonight was a really magical show. I appreciate the opportunity to connect with all of you. You're all amazing. Keep smiling, keep staying positive, keep finding a way to impact the world. And remember, we're all connected. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday night. We have a huge guest in the studio. We have Mark Shapiro, who is the #1 real estate investor in Florida and respected internationally. And we will be doing that in studio with a live audience and on Zoom. So it will be a massive, pretty big show next week. We expect quite a crowd next week. We would love to have you join us on Zoom or in studio in Plantation, Florida. Michael, did you have another comment you wanted to make?
Yes. You said something about you be at Ocean Manor tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Tomorrow night, that's the whole reason we did tonight's show on Zoom. We decided to give Steven the night off because it's his birthday week, our producer. So tomorrow night, Steven with Miami Cam Squad and myself are special guests at the Smack Champion Press Party, which is going to be at the Ocean Manor Resort in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And everyone, all you have to do is register on my Partyful link, which is attached to my Instagram. Remember, everything is on my bio link on Instagram. If you have not been to my bio link on Instagram, that's where you can read about the memberships, sponsorships, RSVP for the next event, past episodes. Everything is there because I find that's where most people read the most. But yes, tomorrow night, and everyone that comes from the Laws of Life gets in free. And you'll get your own lanyard that Stephen printed, especially for Laws of Life participators that are going tonight, so that we can sort of become recognizable in the crowd at the celebrity boxing, that they know you're a Law of Lifer. You've been to a Law of Life and you're there because of the Laws of Life platform. So it's going to be an amazing event. Does that answer your question, Michael? Thank you for reminding me to make that announcement.
Well, I was going to say, give a shout out, say hi to David for me.
I absolutely will. Stephen, do you want to make any closing comments for the wrap up, or happy birthday? We love you. God bless, Stephen. And he said, once again, you're all welcome to come tomorrow. And I will definitely tell Damon, who is the founder of Celebrity Championship, that you know him. That is an amazing connection. Thank you guys again. Amazing show. Have a great night and see you next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock and tomorrow night at Ocean Manor. Stay safe and have a great night. Thank you for watching.